All right, so good evening, everybody, once again. As you all know, my name is Ziggy Owei, and it's always such a pleasure to host this amazing program called the Wow Wednesday. We've had several episodes, and these episodes are geared towards sharing information of great value to people within our secret community and all our friends and family, as the case may be, on various topics of life, business, health, children, family, you name it. And it has always been an amazing experience. We have been so privileged to have so many different amazing speakers. But tonight, I have a very special guest on the call, and I'll tell you why. I recently attended a program which she was part of, and it was hosted by the Women of Stature program. And I sat next to her when we walked into the room to start off the presentation. And I asked her, "Oh, can I have your number?" And she gave me her number. And then she said, "Oh, I like to connect with quality people. So I'm going to give you my number." And she gave me her number. And I was like, okay, interesting. But I had no clue who I was sitting next to. I had no idea she was going to be one of the speakers for the evening. I had no idea what wealth of experience she had and what exactly this lady had to offer. And so when she got up, when they now introduced the speaker and they now introduced this lady, I realized that the person who was sitting next to me was actually one of the speakers for the day and was an incredible, successful businesswoman. Not just that, but with so much knowledge, so much to offer in areas that areas that I know that I've always wanted to learn more about. And the first thing that came out of her mouth is the quote that you see on your screen. She just said, "Your business doesn't fail because of money. It fails because of relationships. Strong and quality relationships build sustainable businesses." That was her opening statement, and it was a big light bulb moment for me. I was like, this is so true. And having been in business myself for 24 years, I just reflected on the moment, and I'm like, this is a powerful statement. This is a statement that a lot of people, even those of us who have been in business, have never really thought about. And it's a concept that we don't pay attention to. We're not intentional about. And then she said, a lot of you are sitting close to people that could potentially change your lives, but you don't know it because you're not even going to pay attention to them or interact with them or do anything whatsoever. I mean, those are very powerful statements. And, it stayed in one side of my subconscious mind all this while. And when I was thinking of what I was going to share with people this week, relationships just came to my mind. And I said to myself, I haven't even reached out to Shereen after this conference. How the hell am I going to reach out to her to be on the show tonight? And you know what? I just said, I'm going to take a leap of faith, which was exactly what I did. And thanks to this incredible lady, she has a heart to serve. Of course, she's not making any gains from this financially, but she made herself available at such a short notice to someone that she literally doesn't even know much about. And that is so powerful. That is so powerful for me, and even tops my respect for her to, I don't know how high, So guys, I want to tell you that the lady you're going to hear from tonight is absolutely incredible. You want to pay attention with everything you have. This topic is something that we gloss over, but is the bedrock of our secret community. It is the bedrock of what we do as a community. So you want to pay attention, you want to have your pen and paper, you want to, whatever it is you need to do, block out all distractions and pay attention. So allow me to introduce, normally I would pick a couple of things from the profile, but I so enjoyed reading her profile and I want you all to enjoy that too. So I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to read her profile as she sent it to me. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm doing that because we always say that success leaves clues. How you do one thing is how you do everything. This is a clear example because it started way back from when she was a young girl. And that is so touching for me. So I'm going to read this. So bear with me. I'm going to give her the full introduction that she deserves, and you will know why when she takes over the podium from me. So Shereen Hunter is an experienced businesswoman with a successful 25-year track record. Her first tertiary ambition manifested in 1993 when she qualified for a Rotary exchange student representing South Africa on a long-term exchange program in Australia. And in the same year, she was invited as a guest speaker at the United Nations. Did you hear that? Same United Nations Youth Conference in Queensland. In the years that followed, she graduated from the University of Witwatersrand with law, from Witwatersrand, while law was her initial interest. And after 3 years of study, graduated with majors in international relations and industrial psychology. She's a lover of academia and has continued to study over the last 20 years, completing diplomas in the project management, sales, and marketing, and in 2020, brand management through the University of Cape Town. She also spent 3 years at the world-renowned Bible School studying applied biblical principles. Her career in corporate South Africa was kickstarted when she, after only 6 months of employment, she was catapulted from a junior position in sales role to the position of national marketing and manager within a division of Bidvest in 6 months of being employed. How cool is that? Her fierce work ethic, did you hear that? Fierce work ethic and unwavering dedication to results-driven performance very quickly set her apart. Shereen spent more than a decade being groomed by top South African businessmen to whom she today attributes much of her success. She navigated from middle to senior management positions over 18 years and finally settled in the role of managing director at the age of 37. Managing director. She served not for her own business, for corporate South Africa. That's huge. She served for 2 years in this position before she finally evolved into her entrepreneurial journey in 2015. Today, she's the CEO and owner of Hunter Group, Hunter's Fitment and Unleashed Combat Sports and Events. She's a shareholder of Beta Promotional Printers and WOS, that's Women of Stature Network International, and a turnkey brand management agency, Africa Brand Architects. Shereen also sits on the boards of 2 nonprofit companies, namely It's Not About Me and Carlton Boxing Promoters Association. She's highly skilled in strategic management, commercial and relationship building and leadership. Her company, Hunters Group, was awarded the PR portfolio for the Board of Airline Representatives of South Africa for 2020. And they were also, 2020, and they were also appointed as 2021 PR partner for Johannesburg Chamber of Commerce and Industry with mandate to develop chamber brands across Africa through strategic marketing. Shereen Hunter is today an alumni member of Rotary International. That's also very huge, guys. And a Rotarian, of course, currently serving in the Public Image Committee for Rotarian International District 9400 Southern Africa, and will take up the role of chairperson leading the South African Public Image Committee in July 2021. Obviously, that has been done. And she has so many awards, from Air Mauritius Digital Marketing to, different Boxing South African Award, to nominee of Woman of Stature Businesswoman of the Year Award, and you name it. So this is the caliber of the woman that we want to listen to this evening. And I just want to say that, yes, some people might have a big profile, but when they speak, you wonder. This is someone that I'm not one who is easily impressed by people, but I was super impressed by this lady. So take that from me, my beautiful secret family. I want you to pay attention. And Shereen, I want you to unmute yourself. I want to welcome you on board our call. I'm just going to see how to make this for us to be seeing each other by the side. Just give me 1 second. Spotlight. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just now. And then I want us to be side by side. Just give me, yeah, thank you. I normally have my friend Henry Moyo help me with this. I'm a little bit technologically challenged, but yeah, I'm getting there. So thank you so much, Shereen, for joining us. It's such a great pleasure to have you. And thank you so much for just giving me a big yes after listening to my speech. How was your day?
Ziggy, you're just amazing. You know, I loved you when I met you actually at the conference in Cape Town. And the one thing that impresses me is people who are mobilized to action. Because, we meet a lot of people doing business in our social lives, through parenting, through relationship, but there are very few people that actually follow up on what they say they will do. 1 in every 100. And so when you said, write your number down now, I'm going to connect with you, you had such a conviction in your voice. And that's really what has opened the door. So when you reached out to me and said, can you speak? The answer just has to be yes. Because I think as women supporting women and as women supporting men in business, we have a duty and a responsibility to support one another. Not just talk, 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 but actually do the actions as well. So thank you for having me on your webinar. It's an honor and a privilege for me to serve, honestly.
Thank you so much. So team, let's give Shereen our beautiful, warm, secret welcome. I'm going to go off now and she will start sharing. And as she shares with us, if you have any questions, just type them on the chat box. Your questions, as usual, will be taken after her, what she's shared. We don't want to miss out on anything she's going to share with us. Let's give her a beautiful, secret, warm welcome as she gets started. Thank you so much. And over to you now.
Awesome. Thank you, Ziggy. Give me a minute just to share my screen there. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to deep dive in. I believe I've got about 35 minutes to share with you from my heart, really, about relationships and about business. I spend a lot of time with people talking about business. That is actually my day job. Consulting to different organizations. When I initially started out in my business, I dealt largely with SMEs. But the truth be told, as time went on, I was referred, from one client to the next. And so I've been very fortunate that I've been able to work with businesses around the world now, intercontinent. But my passion is really for Africa at the end of the day. And I love to take what I've learned and share it with people, just like the leaders that I work with every day who share their wisdom with me. And I think one of the things that I'm very passionate about is relationships in business, because often when I sit and I talk to business people about business, the number one complaint that you will hear from businesses that are having a hard time, possibly they've plateaued or they're struggling to take off even, or sometimes they're just nose diving down and they don't know why. But I think at the corner of all of that, and you rightly said it this evening, Ziggy, is people are the business. When somebody says to me, Shereen, my business is suffering, what I'm hearing is, Shereen, my relationships are suffering. Because at the end of the day, relationships are the business. That business is going nowhere if the relationships within in that business is not solidified. So if you say there's not enough business coming in, it tells me there's a problem with the relationships with clients. If you tell me we're struggling to get work out, it means there's a problem in the relationships of your supply chain, or possibly a relationship with staff. It always boils down to relationship. I just don't want to kick my slides too quickly. Okay, so what I want to say to you tonight is, audience in Africa, across a number of countries, let me tell you before we start, I am not going to tell you something that you don't already know. The Bible actually says there's nothing new under the sun. But hopefully as a teacher, because I think that's what I am, I'm going to say it in a way that resonates with you. Hopefully I'm going to be able to give you the same message that you know in your heart and you know it in your head, but you are going to hear it differently tonight. And hopefully you are just going to walk away with one or two things that you remember that can change the course of your life. I put up a post on my social media just recently for those who want to connect. On Facebook, I'm Shereen Michelle Hunter. On all other platforms, I'm Shereen Hunter. But it said this, and I thought it was very powerful. One smile can start a friendship. Isn't that just the truth? Where one smile can take you. One word can end a fight. One look can save a relationship. And one person can change your life. And unfortunately, when we're navigating through life, we don't see the end from the beginning. the only way for us to tap into the possibility of the power of one person, is honestly to put the effort into developing relationships. Because as Ziggy mentioned to you, and as I mentioned to the ladies in Cape Town, you can be sitting in a room full of people, you can arrive on your own, you can sit down, you can have a meal, you can listen to the presentation, and you can leave and you walk away with nothing. Or you can look at the people that are in a room with you every day and look at the possibilities within those relationships. And the only way that you will find that is if you take the time to talk to people. And if you take the time to understand what people do, and if you take the time to follow up with those people, relationships don't build themselves. They are very much a two-way street. So what we need to know and remember every day as we're trying to build our businesses is that the way that we create a wealthy life, and a wealthy life it means different things to different people, is that we need good people around us, because a lot of people means nothing. The quality of the people around us is so important. And then the second part of it is that we need to invest in those relationships. We can't have good people around us that we are continually drawing from all the time. We have to be able to give something back to those relationships so that we can cultivate the potential that exists within those relationships. So what are relationships in pure definition? A relationship is the way in which two or more people or things are connected. And I thought that was very interesting, because relationships don't just exist between people. Relationships can exist between people and also their things or other things. You have a relationship not only with your partner, with your children, with your parents, with your friends, with your business associates, but you also have a relationship with money. You have a relationship with your health. You have a relationship with your wealth. You have a relationship with the material things in your life. And all of those relationships need to be healthy so that you can feel as though it's a profit to your life and not things that are draining or taking away from your life. So the issue of being connected is at the root of happy relationships. And if we look at the definition of the word connected or connection, it is also just a relationship. So relationships are basically connections, relationships in which a person or thing is linked or associated with something else. So if you say, I don't have meaningful connections, what you're saying is you don't have meaningful relationships. Or if you say, I don't have a connection with this person, essentially what you're saying is you don't have a relationship with this person. And I think what is very profound when you're building your business and you're building your life is you can know a lot of people, but you can have no meaningful connections. And I see this play out every day in business. So many people will come into a room and say, I know this person and I know that person and I know that person. Yes, that's fine. You know a lot of people. But when the rubber hits the road, are these people that you can rely on? People that you can get advice from? People that can open doors to opportunities for you? Are these the quality of people in your life? Because knowing a lot of people is not impressive at all. In fact, it's possibly better to know less people and have quality relationships than spend a lot of time building popularity and building an audience and getting to know a lot of people, but none of it has any meaning for you. And this for me was very important. We saw this in lockdown, where economies were contracting at the rate of knots. Businesses were stumbling and fumbling, and everybody was trying to find out, where do I go? What do I do? What do I do when customers can't come into my business? What do I do when I can't send my workers to work? What do you do? And I can tell you, at the core of success and being able to survive would have been the quality of your relationships. Because when you have good relationships with people and you've invested in those relationships and you've worked at those relationships, it's very easy to pick up the phone and dial a number. Here's my phone. I had my timer on. Forgive me. Let me close it. And phone a friend who you know has a meaningful connection to you and say, I'm stuck. Can you help me? Can you give me advice? Can you direct me? Do you know somebody who wants my product? Can you this is you cannot pick up this phone, people, and talk to people and ask them for help if you haven't spent time building a relationship with them. I can tell you, you will be so reluctant to reach out and ask people to help you and direct you if you haven't invested in the relationship. If you've got a good relationship with people, it's very easy to pick up the phone and talk to them. But if you haven't invested in those relationships, when you need them, it's very, very difficult to ask for help. So the value of not just knowing people, but of having those meaningful connections is vitally important. Otherwise, possibly the picture of your life can look like this. It can feel like a very lonely road. It can feel like a very lonely road in your marriage if you haven't worked at your relationship. It can feel like a very lonely road in your business if you haven't invested in the people in your business and you haven't connected with them and made meaningful connections. It can feel like a very lonely road in your ministry or in your non-profit work if you haven't spent time building those relationships. So this feeling of loneliness and being alone on the road is directly rooted in the amount of consciousness we have around building relationships. And there's a few words that I will use here, but I want to tell you, you can't fake connection. You can fake a lot of things. You can maybe fake a smile for a while, but at the end of the day, you cannot fake connection. You know when someone is looking you in the eye and they're smiling, if they're genuinely smiling. You know when you are talking to somebody and they are genuinely listening. You cannot fake relationships. And I think especially in business, we completely are disillusioned and mislead ourselves when we think that either customers or suppliers don't perceive that there's no sincerity in a relationship. If you are just going to phone somebody once a month as a courtesy call or just pop in because it's on your trip sheet and you've got to hand it to your boss and you don't really pay attention to what your customer is saying or what your supplier is saying and you fly in and out, it's very easy to identify that that is a fake relationship. It's not sincere. It's not from the heart. And so you can't fake those connections. Not in any kind of relationship can you fake connection. And so there's a huge obligation on us as business people, as partners, as friends, as family members, to be sincere in the way that we approach those relationships across the board. The more people you have meaningful relationships with, the more likely you are to be able to solve problems. It's a fact. I'm going to say that again. The more people you have meaningful relationships, the more likely you are to solve problems. And why is that? Because 2 heads are better than 1. 3 heads are better than 1. 5 heads are better than 1. So when you get stuck in your business, when you get stuck in your relationships, you have so much more to draw from. If you've built up a community around yourself of wise people, supportive people, people of good character that you can depend on for advice, versus having a mentality of me, myself, and I, lock myself away, I can do this on my own, you're going nowhere on your own. You're going nowhere on your own slowly. You actually need people to come alongside you in your journey and to give you information that you don't have and to give you advice that you need it. People, you need it. Don't mislead yourself in business thinking you can do it on your own. You are as good as the community of people that you've built around you. And if you are in a place today where you are very fortunate and you say, I don't need anybody, I'm a self-made man, I'm a self-made woman, I've got a level of wealth, I've got my family, I've got I've got everything I need. I don't need anybody else. I'm happy in my little house with my little family. I want to tell you, and my life is testimony to that. That perfect little life that you built can disappear in an instant. In an instant. In an instant. You think you don't need people, you need people. I, in an instant, became a widow. I did not plan for it. It was not on my agenda. It was not on my vision board. I did not think it was even possible. It was the last thing on my mind, and it turned my universe upside down. And I have never needed people more than in that time. So we are living in a world that is filled with uncertainty. And your life, where you are sitting now, however comfortable you may be, sir, ma'am, in an instant, everything can change. And let me tell you, you are going to need the people around you. You are going to need your friends. You are going to need your family. You are going to need your work associates. You are going to need a relationship with whoever supports you in your business. You are going to need relationship. So the worst thing that you can convince yourself of as you get older and as you become more successful and more independent is to mislead yourself and think, I don't need people. I don't need people. I had friends when I was young. As you get older, you don't need people. You need people. In fact, the older you get, the more you need people. Because those very people that you don't want to socialize with on a weekend, and you don't want to have your Sunday lunch with, and you don't want to go to the network meeting with, and you don't want to pitch up for the birthday party with, those are the very, very same people you're going to need when your life can change in an instant. So people are valuable. People are valuable. We need people. If you talk about business, just basic business, let's bring it back to business and relationship being the currency. Nothing moves in your business without people. Not the supplier or the customer moves. Nothing can happen without people driving those processes. So be it that you have a digital and online business, be it that you have an online company, whatever it is, don't get comfortable. Behind that computer screen, behind that iPad, behind that cell phone, there's a person. Nothing is happening on that device without a person pushing on that screen. You need people, and you have to keep building relationship with people so they will engage with your business and they will engage with your brand. So we know nothing moves without the effort of people. Dreams, your dreams, wherever they are today, they will not move 1 inch if they don't go through people. Everything that we achieve in this world is through people. In a very spiritual way, God moves through people. When you want help, need help, sit with your head in your hands thinking, I need help. Let me tell you, 100% of the time, that help is going to come through a person. Help doesn't come in a form. It comes through a person. And if you haven't built relationships with people, it's so unlikely to come to you. So it's so important. It's like a car. Your life is a car. That car's not moving anywhere unless you get into the car, switch on the car, put the car in gear, put your foot on the petrol, and turn the wheel. And that's like your dream. Your dream is going nowhere if you're not putting in the effort, if you're not driving that car. You have to be in the car. You have to be in your vision. And you have to put the effort in. And you have to steer that steering wheel. And you've got to use your own 2 legs that God gave you and your 2 arms that God gave you and that brain that God gave you for you to take that dream. You can dream about a beautiful house till the house come home. But I can tell you, if you don't put your stuff in a box and move your things out of an apartment into the house, you're not going anywhere. And this is exactly how business works. Businesses are not going to go anywhere if there are not people in that business who are committed to that business and who have relationships with each other and relationships with customers and relationships with suppliers. And the longer it takes for you to accept as a leader of your home, of your business, of your whatever, that you are totally at the mercy of relationships, the longer it will take your business to grow. And there's absolutely no question about it. You have to physically move yourself. So you can just all move your arms, you have to physically move yourself towards the people you need or want in your space. If there's somebody that you need or you want and you need them for your business to grow, you have to get off your couch and you have to go see them. You have to make the appointment. You have to make the telephone call. You have to follow up. You have to overcome the objection when they say no and you want a yes. It's up to you. It's a physical thing that we do. Because just thinking about what we need to do and thinking ourselves out of what we need to do, it's not going to help anything. You as a person have to physically move yourself towards the people that you need or want in your space. If you want to do international business, ma'am, sir, you need to get on an airplane and you need to go to another country and you need to network with people in that country. Don't fool yourself thinking everything is going to come to you. Nothing is coming to you. And if it does, it's going to be hit and miss, and you're going to move very, very, very slowly. So that it sounds like such a simple thing. Move yourself. I want you to say that out loud if there's no one around. Say, I need to move myself. Yeah, I can see some lips moving on the screen. I need to move myself. It's
I
you've
need to
got
move
to.
myself. I'm saying it for them. I need to move myself.
Yes, exactly, Ziggy. You
Let's
need to
drop that
move.
on the chat box, guys.
Sorry, do you want me to look at the chat box first, or do you want? Can I finish,
No,
Ziggy?
it's fine. Yeah, carry on. I was just saying
Okay,
they should drop
okay.
it on the chat box that I need to move myself.
No, exactly.
That's
So
the
knowledge is so knowledge is not enough. You need to know people, but that's not enough either. So you can go and study, you can read books, you can watch documentaries, you can listen to the radio, you can do podcasts. If you're not moving yourself, you're not going to move your business. You need to know people, but knowing people is not enough. Knowing people doesn't get anything done. You need to build and invest in meaningful relationships with those people. It takes time and it takes effort. So not any relationship will do. That's a fact. And definitely we don't want relationships when we're trying to build a business that are volatile. So what volatile means is this: it's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster. That's why I put the picture of a roller coaster in the background because and there's a word I love to use. It's called fickle. You don't want to be in relationships that are fickle because what it will do, it creates uncertainty. If you have suppliers that are unreliable, then they're there, then they're not, then they're this, then they're that, it's going to mess up your business. It's going to destabilize your service foundation. If you have clients that are not committed, clients, yes, I'm going to do business with you, send me a quote, I'll come back to you, you never hear from the client. I want to encourage you today. Walk away from bad suppliers and walk away from bad relationships and walk away from people who don't keep their word. Whether it's friends, whether it's family, stay away from this. You don't want to be in a seesaw relationship in your business. You cannot build a business like that. You don't want to be on a permanent roller coaster ride. One day you're up, one day you're down, one day you're up, one day you're down. It's extremely filled with anxiety, those kinds of relationships. Move yourself away from those volatile relationships. Move yourself away from fickle relationships and move yourself towards relationships that will help you to build your business, that keep you in a positive mindset, and that are an investment to your business and to your company. Move. Don't be scared to move. It's so important that we keep moving while we're in our business. So there is a responsibility if we want to make money. If we want to make money, we need to understand we need to make genuine friends. You want to know the secret to making money? Make good friends. Build good relationships, not just acquaintances. Don't be fickle. Don't be, just walk in and greet and show your face and shake hands and it means nothing. You walk out the room and you haven't actually established anything that is of substance. As Ziggy did, you're an excellent example, Ziggy, of your word is your bond. Hi, Shereen, my name is Ziggy. I want to meet you. I want to connect with you after this conference. My arms are open. No problem, Ziggy. I would love to connect with you too. Then Ziggy moved. She picked up the telephone. She sent me a message. She followed up. She moved towards the thing that she wanted. And here we sit today, manifesting what is the beginning of a long and fruitful business relationship And all it took was that simple call to action, pick up the phone and talk to people. I cannot tell you how many times in business I see businesses absolutely being stagnant, friendships being stagnant, marriages being stagnant, everything being stagnant because people just don't pick up the phone. Move. Move towards the things that you want and make no apology for it. If you want someone in your life, you want someone in your space, move towards them. Don't wait for things to come to you because you just live a life of utter disappointment. Utter disappointment. And as I said, don't be afraid to move away from the things that are adding no value in your business and in your life. As I said to you earlier, if you don't have quality relationships, it's not easy to get help when you need it. So the saying of when days are dark, friends are few, I don't agree with that at all. I say when days are dark, if you've invested in your relationship, friends are plenty. I've walked a road like everybody else in lockdown over the last 2 years, faced every obstacle that everybody else has faced, no more, no less. If it's come like a tsunami at the world, I was not excluded. But I can tell you now, where I sit here tonight, I sit here established and rooted in firm relationships with people who I cared about, who care about me, who have helped me through the most difficult season in my life. I get through that season. I've been able to get through that season. I'm still getting through that season because of quality relationships. My business prospers because of quality relationships. Do not neglect those relationships when you need help. If you haven't built those relationships, they are very difficult to tap into. So when your business, your marriage, your church, your children need help, you need good people, not any people, not any people, good people that you have quality relationships with who can advise you and who can support you. Quality, good people, not just any people, lots of people, many people. It's not impressive at all. You need people of substance in your space. And so let's explore just maybe the concept of currency, because I keep saying relationship is currency. What is currency? Currency is a medium of exchange for goods and services, but actually it's an exchange. Currency means I give you this and you give me that. And isn't that just what a relationship is? A relationship is an exchange between two or more people. Remember the definition at the beginning? Or an exchange between a person and a thing. You can have a relationship with your home, as I said, with your business, with your car, with many material things, and you can have relationship with people. And how much time do you give to that relationship? How much time? Think about the relationship that people have with their telephone. That is an exchange. You are giving this device your time. You are investing in this device. And then what is this device giving you? There's a relationship here. It's not just spending time on your phone. You're building a relationship with something that is not a person. Think about it. You are exchanging the time of your life with that device. So, every exchange that we have, it happens through good quality, hopefully, and sound relationships. Everything that you can get, it has to pass through relationship. You cannot access wisdom just by reading books. You have to speak to people, get advice, listen to their experience, listen to your elders, listen to those who have gone before you. You go through a relationship. If you need encouragement today, wherever you are sitting in the world, alone, in an apartment by yourself, maybe at the bottom of your business, feeling hopeless, lost, frustrated, if you need encouragement, it's going to come through a person. If you are all out of ideas, you don't have creativity, you need to be inspired and uplifted, it's going to come through a person. Direction, advice, good counsel, through a person. A different perspective, because we get tunnel vision with our life. It comes through a person. Even just energy. Spending time in somebody's company that's really making you feel positive and excited about life, about relationships, about overcoming things, about business, about whatever your thing is, it's going to come through a person. Hope, faith, mentorship, it comes through people. So if you are sitting there, I need help, I want help, I need this, I need that, I need that, all you really should be telling yourself, you need relationships. Your life needs to be richer in relationships because it's through those relationships that wisdom, encouragement, ideas, direction, perspective, energy, hope, faith, and mentorship come to you. I want to tell you a little story that's going to just make it a little bit practical for you if you're a business person tonight. And it's a personal story of my own that I'll share with you about how important relationships are. I have a property in just outside of the CBD of Johannesburg. It's a big property. I don't need the property anymore. I don't want such a big property. Um, and I want to sell it. It's a building, it's got office space. And very recently, a gentleman walked into my office, and he said to me, I have someone who might want to buy this building. You know, we have a business, and we may want to buy this building." And we had a long conversation about the building. And I said to him, "It's so amazing. I mean, how many buildings do you have?" And he told me how many commercial buildings they have. Many commercial buildings in Johannesburg. So obviously, this is a huge property portfolio. And I said to him, "Gee, how did you start your business?" And he said to me, "Can I share a secret with you?" I said, "Absolutely, can share a secret with me. I always want to learn from successful people." He said, "Do you know, I've had this business for many years. We own many buildings. That's why I show you this picture tonight. But you know, I've never used my own money. This business was built without any of my own money. It's not my money." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yeah, I've never actually spent a penny of my money buying a building, but I have many buildings." And I looked at this man and I thought, how did you do that? How? Because I'm fascinated with how you can build a business without money. I think when we teach people to build businesses without money, we enable a generation, we mobilize people. You can build a business with no money. And here's an example of how he did it through relationship. He said, "You know, I don't have a lot of money. I didn't grow up with a lot of money." He said, "But I'm very good at solving problems. I have a friend, my partner in the business. He lives in a neighboring African country to South Africa, and he has money, but he doesn't like to travel. So what I do, I love to go look at buildings, fix the buildings up. I love putting tenants in the building. He hates it. We're the perfect partnership because he's got something that I need. I don't have money. And I love people and I love looking for buildings and I love the refurbishment of buildings, and he hates that. But he wants to invest in property. So we have a partnership. He gives me millions of rands every year in a bank account, and I use his money to go buy these buildings. And then my part of that partnership is I go find people who want to rent space in those buildings. I don't spend the money. And you know, it was such an amazing exercise to me because it was another example of how, when you can solve people's problems by understanding the nature of the relationship, how you can build wealth and build success. Here is a man who had no money, but he owns in his asset value, in his property portfolio, let's say 20 or 30 office blocks in town. Never spent 1 rand of his own money. All he did was make himself available to somebody who did have money to provide a service. And they are 50% partners in the business because the money is as valuable as the time. There's the perfect exchange in partnership. And I thought this was an excellent example of how, once again, you can use relationship to build and create wealth. You don't have to use, in South African terms, the rand. So my message to the ladies in Cape Town is, you don't need rands, you need relationships. Because if you can solve somebody else's problem, you can create wealth. And this is a concept and idea that a lot of people are not even aware of. Because the old theory of money makes money is absolutely not true. You can make a lot of money without any money at all if you know how to solve problems, if you know how to connect yourself as a service provider with somebody who needs what you have. So to me, a marriage made in heaven, any relationship, whether it's a real true marriage, whether it's a relationship with your business, whatever it is, it's the meeting of those two puzzle pieces where you fit perfectly into one another and you solve problems for one another. Because at the end of the day, nobody in business and nobody in their personal life wants to come into a relationship that just creates more problems. So whether you're a business owner and what you are providing in terms of service and a product is frustrating your customers, making them unhappy, your business is going to fail. Not because you don't have money, because you're not in the right relationship with your client. You are not making life easy for them, you are making life difficult for them. You need to give your clients what they want, not try to give them what you are trying to get rid of. The same with your supply chain. You need to make sure that you get the right suppliers for your business and that your suppliers are as committed to you as what you are to your customers and not be held ransom in that way. Or that you don't buy stuff from suppliers that they want to palm off on you, but that your customers don't really need. In your personal relationship, exactly the same way. Don't get involved in relationships where it's a misfit. That 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 match of the puzzle piece fitting together, it must be perfect. And if it is not, I wish you could all just put yourself, this is my last slide. What do you do when things are not working as they should and when that puzzle piece is not fitting exactly right? Do you force the puzzle into the piece and break the whole puzzle? Do you do that? You can, anybody want to answer me? Is that what you do? No. No, I'll tell you what you do. You move yourself. You move yourself away from relationships that are not working. If I look at businesses today, coming back to business and many relationships, but if I look at business specifically today, when businesses fail, they've had the wrong people in the wrong places in that business far too long. The wrong people in the wrong places far too long. And ultimately what ends up happening is that thing will collapse. You really need perfect job person fit. You really need good marriage fit. You really need good friendship fit. You really need the fit to be right. It's work. You have to move yourself. Get off the couch, get onto the phone, get into your car, get onto a taxi, get onto a bus, make that effort to build that relationship. Because when days are dark, friends are not few. Friends can be many if you've richly invested in that relationship. And so I hope that as you approach your business in the days that move forward, and as you approach your relationships in the days that go forward, you will look at them completely differently and not take them for granted. Because I can tell you, I've seen businesses with good people with no money create huge amounts of wealth just by working together in synergy. Move towards the things that fit in and move away from the things that fit out. I think from my point of view, that's all it is today. I don't think I would have taught you anything new. I thank you for dialing in from around Africa. I hope that I've said one or two things today that will resonate with you. And I hope that you will take it and apply it to your life because, as I said, knowledge is not enough. It's not enough. You need to take that knowledge and move with it. Thank you, Ziggy.
Wow, 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 wow. Just give me a second. I need to spotlight you to have you with me right there. I'm telling you, if you can just stop sharing your screen, Shereen, that was absolutely amazing. Everyone on the call, you will agree with me. I mean, if you look at the comments on the chat box, every single nugget that she shared with us this evening, but something stood out for me again as you spoke. And these are, like I told you when we chatted about this evening, most of the people we have on the call are part of our secret family and their friends and family. And we are literally in the relationship business. That's what we're in. And you said something that really cuts deep. He says, invest in your relationships. So what are, invest in your relationships. You talked about currency and exchange. I never thought about the fact that you could be in a relationship with your phone. That was spot on right there. So you're in relationship with things and your relationship with people. But at every point in time, something is going this way and that way. And then more often than not, we find that most, in relationships, it's always a one-way traffic. And I think that is where we have the problems that we do have. So I know that you've shared so much. I want you to bring, I'm going to throw this back, a little bit back at you. Just narrow this a little bit down to the nature of the business that we do. Because, we build our business. I mean, you said something again that was really massive, which is building a business without money. The nature of our business enables us to do that, but are we really tapping into that? Because we build with, people and other people's money as well. And then secondly, just narrowing it down to our the nature of what we do and the nature of how we grow our businesses and all of that. I want you to just narrow down a little bit on that in terms of that, because you see, we are meeting sometimes people, we get to know people from this business. We don't really know them from, a long time ago. And we are building our business with what we call an army of volunteers. So we really need to build a relationship, like you said. So if you can just narrow down a little bit and throw some small nuggets in that direction, I would really, really love that.
Absolutely, Ziggy. I would say when we hop off the call tonight, the most important thing that you walk away from is to say, which of the relationships have I neglected in my life, or which area of my life am I not happy with? And it will come back to relationship. If you're not happy with things at work, look at the relationships at work. If you're not happy with things at home, look at your relationship at home. It's not home, it's not work, it's the relationship. So when you're unhappy, it's the relationship that you're unhappy with. Even if you're unhappy with yourself, if you are unhappy and you have a bad relationship with yourself, you're not going to be a positive, motivated person. I think you touch on something that is very important, and that is the space of volunteers. Because an army of volunteers is mobilized through relationship. The way that you get people to do things with you and for you is through relationship. We will go over and above for people we have relationship with. It's very easy to say no to somebody that you don't know, that you might not like, or that you don't feel actually cares about you. It's easy to say no. It's very hard to say no to somebody who loves on you, who cares about you, who has your best interest at heart, and they demonstrate that through the way that they're living and the way that they're treating you. So I don't know a lot about your business, Ziggy, but I mean, I personally do a lot of voluntary work. And I can tell you, as a person who loves to volunteer and work in community, I gravitate towards the organizations that I feel care about me, care about my family, have taken the time to get to know me, and who maintain the relationship. So there is just no sidestepping it in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Amazing. Amazing. Yes, our business, the secret business is in network marketing. And our products, like you saw that day, is skincare, nutrition and wellness, and travel. So we have all that in our ecosystem. But like I said, it's still relationship based,
Yes.
which is network marketing. But there was also something else you talked about that I'd like you to throw light on from your last presentation as well. And you talked about the fact that, when we meet people, the first thing we want to do is to vomit on them. Just, tell them about what we have, what we can do, you know what I mean? And you said something that really struck me, which I would like you to also throw light on this call for our viewers this evening, because it's so powerful. You talked about us being able to build a relationship, listen to the people, and that way you're able to provide a solution to the problem. So if you can just touch on that as well, I will be very glad. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the most successful products in life are products that people need. So let's use your product as an example. Nutritional supplements. Is that a fair example?
Yes.
Okay. So at the
There are
end,
three,
we
there are
know,
three nutrition supplements, the skincare and also
yeah.
travel. Yeah.
Okay, so we know all women use skincare, right? It's
Yeah.
just a question of which brand you are the most loyal to.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, it is largely dependent on what is accessible to you. Now, access comes to relationships. So, if I have a relationship with somebody who has a product available that I already use, because I'm already using skincare, obviously the person that I see the most often, that is top of the mind, who I have a relationship, will always be the preferred brand. That's how it works. So that's what I was saying earlier on in the call. You cannot have a list of people in front of you. It's a database. It's okay, well, let me once a month phone and see how Shereen is doing. Hi, Shereen, it's me. How are you doing? I just want to check. Do you need cream? That's a very fickle relationship, obviously. But
Mm.
if time to time you send a message, hi Shereen, happy birthday, how's it going with Chelsea? Hey, you know my daughter's name, that's really nice. Did you like the sample that I sent you? Yeah, it was great. I'm in town, can we have a coffee together? You're building a relationship. And I think the thing that we are impatient with as humans, we want to meet you today, do business with you tomorrow. And it doesn't work like that. Most of the time, it doesn't work like that. In fact, the bigger the business opportunity, the longer it takes to establish that relationship. I've built relationships with clients over 1 year or 2 years before we do the first transaction. Now, not all transactions are like that. Obviously, you need to pay your bills every month and you are doing your smaller transactions. But I can tell you, your big projects, your big work, your big spenders, it's solid relationships. They must know that you care about them and what you're giving them is a good product or it's a good service or you've shown them the need for it. Sometimes you don't think you need something. I might not realize that I need a supplement that helps with immunity. But in conversation with somebody, when they're educating me about something, not trying to sell me something, just saying, did you know, in conversation, this is what this product can do. Over time, you say, well, you know what, I have a scratch in my throat or I have a little bit of a sneeze. I didn't know that product could do that. I think sometimes we just hard sell too much to people, Ziggy. It's too obvious that we're trying to sell, and it's not obvious that we care. I've got
Absolutely.
no problem with marketing. I have a marketing agency. But I think sometimes we just need to be a little bit more patient with relationships in the way that we do business.
Fantastic. Wow. I mean, spot on, spot on. The bottom line is, the bottom line of our relationship is actually being genuine and caring for the people, and that is part of what Wow Wednesday does. We want to be able to give this value without really wanting to take anything from anybody, so that is really, really spot on. I have a question for you on the chat box and from Dinah. She says, what is the best way to, just as before that one, they're just popping in. What is the best way to, I'm just trying to find that one before I read the other one. Just give me a second. I saw the one first. Just give me a second.
Do you want me to ask Ziggy?
Okay, go ahead. I was just trying to find it.
Okay. Hi, Shereen. Thank you so much for the value. Thank you so much, Ziggy. I appreciate this. I guess my question is about thank you so much, for this talk today. We really appreciate it. My question is about, the increasing of or the sustainability and the increasing of the database of relationship. What would be the best way of building sustainable, genuine relationships on an ongoing basis? Because I believe, like what you were saying, you spoke about, the power of expansion and all that. And I'm saying this because of, how fickle things are in today's world where, people, we just tend to forget the basics of how we used to do things in the past because of the whole distraction of social media and everything else. Thank you.
So, I mean, I think there's two parts to a database. I want to say the one is broad strokes. having a good quality database and sending out good quality information can reach many people at the same time. But make no mistake, um, publishing information is not necessarily building a relationship with the person. So just because you sent out an SMS to 100 people doesn't mean you're going to do any business at all. In fact, I often will say to my clients, don't even waste your money doing flyers. Don't even waste your money doing a bulk mailer. Don't, because this transaction requires a deeper level of relationship. Let's find different ways to engage clients to build a meaningful relationship. Now, in some cases, it does work. So let's say, for example, you are selling a product and it's less 50%. You don't need relationship for that. That incentive is enough for people to come into your shop, buy the product, that the value is there already. But possibly, if you're launching a new product that they've never heard of before, you're not going to go and send an SMS. You're going to invite them to a launch where there's a person-to-person exchange and you've got more time to show the value. So databases are a little bit tricky. I come back to this, is that depending on the value of your transaction is the value of the relationship. If you're selling a low value item, you don't need to spend 3 hours selling something or presenting something to a client that it costs $10. But if you're selling something that's $1 million, you're going to spend time with that customer. So the more the value of what it is that you're doing. It's the same in your relationship. Let's take business aside. You know, if you're just doing a meet and greet network, you can spend 10 minutes with somebody at a social. But if you're looking for a life partner, sweetie pie, you're going to go on a few dates and spend time with that person before you commit to them. It's a high value item, right? So I think, I think we've got to think about what it is that we're transacting with and then be sober-minded about the amount of effort it will take for that transaction to happen, because otherwise you're expecting a lot and giving a little, it's going to fall flat. You've actually wasted your time, quite frankly, because it's not going to go anywhere if it doesn't get the right kind of investment of your time. I also want to say to you, as a person who's in marketing and business development, I'm on the front line of my business and I wouldn't change it for anything. I'm not there because I have to. I'm there because I believe in my product and I believe in the problems that we solve in a community. But remember something, you are one person and you have a capacity. You're not impressing anybody when you're talking to 300 people a day and you can't get to any of them. In that case, keep your database slightly smaller and do more business with less clients, and you actually get the same results. You don't have to do business with 100 customers. You can do business with 10 customers or 15 customers and do exactly the same revenue. You can do business with one customer that can give you the same value as 100 customers if you're getting that customer's 100% business. So just be careful. There's a big balancing act. Numbers are not impressive. You don't need big databases. You don't need big databases. You need good relationships, and rather have less of them and cultivate those relationships that you've got, and you get all the business from those clients. Then spread yourself thin from across too many, and you're making them all unhappy, and you're still not bringing home the bacon.
Wow, Shereen, thank you so much for that. I'm clapping for this one because that is so powerful. Yeah. And my good friend Henry is on the call. We had a chat about this, and it's about the quality, like you said, the quality of the relationships. And just tying it back to the, our secret family, it's about the quality. You, like she said, you can have 10 customers who are not able to even use or buy this product, but you can have 5 people who are reordering in thousands every single week or every single month or every single quarter. And so this is so spot on. And I'm so glad you shared this as well as we round up the call. So we've gone a little bit over time, and I'm super happy about that, because like I told you, this is going to be a very amazing call, and I'm not surprised we went over time on this one. And if you have any other questions, we will just take one more. Otherwise, we will try to wrap it up since we've gone slightly over time, so people can get moving. Like she said, we have to get moving. Knowledge is not enough. Information is not enough. Jumping from one call to the other is not enough. Shereen has said it. We need to move towards what we want, move to the relationship. I told you when I wanted to call her to help be on this call this evening, I said to my friend, I said to Henry, I said, I don't know if she's going to say yes. I haven't been able to reach out to her. WOS, I've been, all over the place, but I'm going to take a leap of faith. And I'm so glad that I did, because now everybody on this call has had the benefit from what you have shared this evening. And it's so heartwarming for me. I'm so grateful. So just rounding up, is it wise to treat clients like family? That is our final question we will take, and then we'll take your closing remarks.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's a very interesting question. I want to say, at the end of the day, you want to treat your clients as you would like to be treated. Honestly, treat your client the way you want to be treated. Give them the respect and the time and the forgiveness that you want. Because remember, business, you've got to be forgiving of one another. Nobody is perfect. I'm also very particular, I must say. I wouldn't invite anyone into my home like family. I don't think that's wise. I think it takes time to nurture relationships, and as those relationships develop and trust, obviously you have those friends and clients who become like family. But that would take years to establish. I wouldn't just openly bring everybody into my space as family. You're likely to get hurt. Everybody's at a different level, very unintentionally. I don't say people come with the wrong agenda, but I think you do have to be you do have to be wise. I don't think I would treat all my clients like family, but I care for them the way I would want to be cared for. That is for sure. I treat every client's business like it is my own. When I sit at my desk and I look at that business, okay, this is my business. If it was my business, what would I do? I really genuinely do. And successful people do. They have great respect for other people's money. They have great respect for other people's time. They have great respect for other people's businesses. But that doesn't mean family. Family is a sacred and special thing. And I think people need to earn their space in your life to be called family.
Absolutely. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Very, very amazing nugget there as well. So we're going to just round up by just asking you, what will be the one thing you would like to leave with us tonight? I know you've left so much already. I feel like I'm trying to squeeze you to the final, but what would be your closing remark for us tonight, and then we can round up for the evening. Thank you.
Ziggy, I would just say keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving towards those things and those people that are taking you closer toward your goal. And on the flip side of that, keep moving away from the things and the people that are taking you away from your goal. Keep moving.
Short and simple. Thank you so much, Shereen. Viewers, you have heard it all from this amazing lady. I told you when I met her, it was a light bulb moment for me, and I'm sure that has been the same for a lot of you. And I'm so grateful. I hope I can also give back in some way for what you have shared with us this evening. But before we say goodbye to Shereen, I want you all to give her a warm, our secret love. Show her some secret love. Show her a massive thank you. We have received so much from her voluntarily. I'm just so grateful. And as we all go, it's all about movement. Keep moving away from and towards. Away from the bad stuff towards the good stuff for you. So let's show her some love. I want to see the hearts. I want to see the red hearts on the chat box. Shereen, thank you so much. We are so grateful. We have learned so much, and trust me, I will apply everything, because I do what I say I would do. So that is for sure. And I'm so grateful to have known you. And I know that this is the start of a long, mutually beneficial relationship. And I'm just not going to let go of that building relationship. I wish you a very good night. Shout out to your lovely daughter, Chelsea, on the call. We're happy you're on the call to support mom for this, or to just appreciate mom. You've seen her in a mom role and seeing her in this role are two different things. So thank you for joining us this evening as well. And thank you everyone for being on the call. Thanks. We are grateful. Have a beautiful
Thank you.
day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.